we are going to focus that webinar on the data quality functionalities inside Collate. So maybe it's your first webinar with us. Maybe you've been here since the beginning. So we thought it would be great before we go and dive into the demo to have a quick recap of what Collate provides out of the box and what we have been building throughout those many releases, right? So if you've used OpenMetadata or Collate since the beginning, you've seen the evolution of the data quality tool inside the software. But today, when you are starting your journey, your data quality journey, your metadata journey with Collate, you'll be able to run natively data quality inside the tool. You'll be able to have access to descriptive statistic metric directly inside the tool, integrate your existing observability tools such as dbt or Great Expectation or whatever custom tool you may be using directly with Collate. And also, after you have all of the observability integration made, that you are tracking the quality and the metrics of your data, you are also able to actively manage ongoing incidents happening inside the platform, have access to real-time notifications so that whenever there are issues or anomalies that are happening within your data, you are directly alerted inside the channels that best work and fit your organization. And in terms of access to observability, we have a lot of native test cases that will be going over that provides some critical monitoring for your data, right? So such as freshness, how fresh are your data, right? Can we make sure that the data that I am using for my reports and whatnot are the most recent one? Integrity tests, right? I'm doing some transformation between source and destination. Am I sure that all of the information that was in my source are now also present inside my destination? And we've been adding throughout the releases a lot of AI-powered functionality inside the tool, such as anomaly detection, incident classification, and also an entire section around that is closely tied to the observability around classification of your data based on specific signals that we are seeing inside the tool, right? So enough for the slide. The best next course is going to be go through the platform and navigate all of these elements that we have seen inside the slide so that you can have a sense of how does this looks and how is this translated inside the platform, right? So if you're familiar with Collate, you know that at the core of Collate is a knowledge graph of your data where we are capturing different signals that are emitted either directly through the platform or from the service that you are integrating, right? And from that knowledge graph, we have access and information to your metadata and to the structure of your tables of your data that exist inside Collate, right? So for example, if I go to my customers table that lives inside my Redshift service, which I have integrated with Collate. I have access to different information about my tables, such as what column exists inside my service, what are the data type, what is the structure of my table. And that's a critical component of Collate that allows us to power our observability tool, and that makes a difference with what you may have with other tools, right? Because we have access to some context and some information about your service, and that allows us to build a solution that provide real value based on the usage and the information and how your service exists and is structured inside your organization, right? So once we have ingested our metadata for our service, we can start our observability journey by going to the Data Observability tab, right? So if I click on the Data Observability tab, I can see different information. Of course, here I have already ingested and created data quality test. So I have access to that overview panel that will help me understand what is the health status of this table as a data consumer, right? So I can see and have access to that information quickly and quickly understand how reliable, how much can I trust the data and the information that is inside my table, right? Of course, if I want to add data quality test, I can simply navigate to the Add Test tab, then pick the type of test case that I want to do, right? Do I want to perform a table or a column level test, right? We have a different set of natively integrated data quality tests that exist and that are shipped natively with Collate. And so if I click on the table test cases, then I will have access to a different set and different type of test cases inside my tool, right? Three of the most popular test cases that we are seeing used by user is the custom SQL query test that allows you to develop and write any kind of SQL power type of test cases. And of course, we have our DataDiff comparison test case that allows us to understand the integrity and the integrity by comparing two different tables inside my tool, right? So if I have, for example, a source in a Snowflake database that then gets transformed and loaded into some other services or still inside Snowflake, then I have that ability to say I want to compare my table right here, so the customer table that lives right here, maybe with my staging customer, right? And then I can decide, do I want to have a full comparison of the two data sets, or do I just want to make sure that my first names and my last names are both matching in each data set, right? Making sure that during the ETL process, during the transformation, my source and my destination still remains the same, and I have preserved integrity between those two data sources, right? So with Collate, you have that ability to natively check that critical part of your ETL process, right? Similarly, another data quality test that we see that is very useful for our users across different organizations is to understand how fresh is my table, right? So oftentimes we want to make sure that whenever we're consuming data or that data are being fed into dashboard, that we are providing the most recent and the most fresh data to my data consumer, right? And we want to have that verification made early so that we don't get informed by people using those dashboards, but that we can proactively monitor that type of elements, right? And so with Collate, you can natively provide that kind of test. You can simply pick that data quality test, then select the column that makes the most sense for you to verify. So for example, here it can be the most recent order. Then time since update will simply be how long in the past should I be looking at, right? So maybe I want to make sure that I'm looking at 1 day worth of data, and then I can simply save that test and have my test being executed and get informed and alerted wherever it makes the most sense for me inside the organization, right? So if I go back to the observability tab, right, we can already see how easy and simple it is to start your data observability journey with Collate, right? And so that element of creating data quality test at the table level will also exist at the column level, and we have the same simplicity to do it. Now, one element that we often see is we can easily start our data quality journey, but to make sure that my data quality test makes the most sense, it can sometimes be a bit difficult because I need to have deep knowledge of the data set and the structure of the data, right? And with Collate, as of 1.6, the version that we are providing today, we have two ways to go about minimizing the efforts that it requires for you to get started in that journey, right? So the first approach, and you'll see this out with different data quality tests posted across the platform, is our anomaly detection tool, right? So our anomaly detection tool uses our in-house AI model to analyze the structure of your dataset and alert you on any anomalies that we may see happening inside your dataset dynamically without you having to set some hard bounds and having to either modify that or changes as your data set may evolve, right? And to perform that anomaly detection, it's as easy as what we've seen so far. You simply, so here we're going with a column level type of example. You simply pick the column on which or the table on which you want to perform your data quality test. You select the test type. So here, maybe I want to make sure that, for example, my column values are between a specific bound, right? And here we'll have two options, right? So we can either set hard bound, so minimum or maximum data, or I can simply select the anomaly detection component of the platform, so that we'll have dynamically asserted test case results, and you won't have to worry about changing the bound or making sure am I setting the correct bound for my data set, and that will allow you to be able to achieve data quality at scale in a faster way, right? Okay, so far what we've seen how we can get started with our data quality journey inside Collate, right? We can easily set data quality test inside the platform. We've seen different type of test cases where we can actually check for integrity, check for freshness. We can lower the cognitive load that may exist when starting our data quality journey by using our AI-powered anomaly detection functionality. Now, what we can also achieve as a first step when we are starting our observability journey inside Collate is to get an understanding of the structure of our data, right? So oftentimes for a lot of analytical or data scientist project, we want to have an understanding of the shape of the data, right? What type of data am I working with? What is the structure of my data inside my table, right? And with Collate, getting that information is very easy, right? It's one click to set up the workflow ingestion. So if you're familiar with OpenMetadata, that's something that is very familiar, where in your service, you will then set your ingestion workflow. And once you have set up your profiler ingestion workflow, then you will get access to descriptive statistic for your table, right? And so that descriptive statistic is located under the data observability tab. And we have two types of level that are available directly inside the platform, right? So if I navigate to my table profile, I have an overview across a time series graph of the evolution of the structure of my table, right? So here I can see this table has 100 rows, 100 rows for the past 7 days, but I can look at historically how this has evolved, right? I can see that on February 9th, that number of rows increased, but then it decreased back on February 16th, right? And then if I scroll down, I can also see the type of operations that have happened during that time. right? So I can see I had some inserts that happen over that time period that changed the row count. And then finally, if there are any type of custom metrics that one wants to track, we have that ability as a user to go in the platform and define our own custom metrics. And custom metrics are simply Scholar queries that are going to return a single value on execution. And that allows you to extend the type of information that are natively provided by the system to include metrics that are important for your use case and for your organization, and to integrate them natively with the tool that your user are going to use and reference across your organization. Now, if we navigate to the column profile, then we'll have a similar view, but with a breakdown at the column level, right? So we'll have an overview of the type of data that we are working with and the structure of my data across different dimensions, null count, uniqueness, distinct, etc., etc. And then if I click on a specific column, then I'll be able to have a more detailed view of the information and the structure of my data, similarly broken down across different dimensions. So think about count, proportion, date range, data aggregation. If we have access to quartile and distribution, we'll also show you that information. And so, for example, if I'm checking the number of orders that have been passed in the over time, then I can see the data distribution across the frequency of occurrence of certain specific values, right? And we can have the skew that will be helpful for any type of analytical or data scientist job that your organization may need to perform, right? And you can think about it as providing tremendous value for your organization, because that's time saved by a big chunk of your team not having to research and perform all of these queries and pre-work before being able to actually work on delivering the action that's needed across their team. And you can also think about it as saving money, right? Because those are queries that your teams won't have to run against your service. So that will be money saved for your organization as well. All right, awesome. So far what we've seen, right? We've seen how we can get started with our data quality journey by simply and easily defining data quality test inside Collate, simply through the UI with a few clicks, and similarly gaining access to the underlying structure of our data sets inside our organization, right? So that's great. But once we have defined our data quality test, how do we make sure that we can easily keep track of the performance, the success, the failure, and making sure that we have a way to be alerted and to track that information, right? So as we've seen earlier, we'll have access in the overview tab to a bunch of quick overview organized around across different dimensions, right? So first, when I'm landing on a table inside Collate, I have an indicator at the top that will tell me if that table has any type of ongoing incident, right? So as a data consumer, I can already be informed that there may be some ongoing issues with that specific table that I need to be careful of, right? And by clicking on that button, I will simply be redirected to the screen I am on right now, right? So from here, I'll be able to have a quick understanding of test case failure, incidents that are open, or any upstream failures, right? So you can think about it as maybe I have that customer table that uses data from an upstream table. So think about it as a staging customer table, maybe. And maybe that customer table has 0 tests that are assigned to it, right? But if staging customer has some failure, I'll still be informed that some issues are going on with tables that are feeding into this table so that I can be alerted and be aware that maybe I should take the information that I'm getting out of that customer's table with a grain of salt, right? So here I'm able to have an overview of the state of my table. I can also see the information broken down across specific dimensions, right? So here I can see that accuracy tests are all passing as expected, but all of the other dimension tests are all have some type of failure. So I can explain all of the categories and do a quick check of which test cases are causing issue and creating some failures, right? So for example, I can see that my table freshness test has been failing on each execution for the day, right? So I can simply click on that test case, and that will redirect me to a dedicated view of the data quality test performance across a timeline. So I can see how this test has been evolving over time, right? So I can see that my test has the specification that my table the latest timestamp inside my table should not be older than 3 hours ago, right? But I can see that throughout the past week, the past 30 days, this has not been met. That condition has not been met, right? I can see that freshness has been 4 hours for a long time. And then for some reason, on February 17th, it has spiked to 2 days and 12 hours, right? So I can already see that I have some issue going on with my data freshness inside my table, and that recently that issue has become even more critical, right? So from here, what I can do, I can go back to my customers table. I can navigate to the lineage where I have an understanding of what is the flow of data inside my organization, right? So here I can see that data are being fed across different dimensions, right? And I can also see that I have two pipelines that have been running, bringing data from Databricks to my customers table, right? And by simply clicking on that information, I can navigate to my pipeline directly that exists inside Collate and try to see if there were any execution issue with that pipeline. And of course, we provide a link to direct you to that pipeline. So the idea here is that from those simple information and that knowledge graph that you have access to inside Collate, you are able to have a faster resolution to the root cause issue that may create some data quality issue with your data. And the idea is to provide you with the tools and the information that will allow you to find resolution as fast as possible, right? And we'll have that information and that dedicated data quality test for all of the tests that are available inside Collate, right? So similarly, if we have a test case that is failing, for example, here we have a column level test case, we'll be providing a set of sample rows showing you the conditions that is not met, right? So here we have our number of order test cases, right? And we can see that we have a lot of rows that have no values for the number of orders, and our condition is not met. And we have that information that will be shown and will be available directly inside Collate, right? And to go a bit further, you can click on Explore with Query, and here we will give you access to the query that was used to generate those rows, so that you can simply copy it and continue the exploration directly in your system, right? In feature release, we'll make it available for you to directly run that query inside the tool, so that you don't have to jump between different screens, but you can fully do the root cause analysis directly from Collate and have a resolution available as fast as possible. All right, awesome. So let's do a quick recap of what we have seen so far. So I'll go back to our customers table. So far, what we have seen that with Collate, you have the ability to quickly and easily start your data quality journey by natively defining data quality tests directly inside the platform, but also using our SQL query test that allows you to basically create unlimited type of test cases. We've seen the ability with Collate to have access to the structure of your underlying data with the descriptive statistic natively integrated inside Collate. We've also seen the ability with the AI-powered anomaly detection to get a easier start to your data quality journey, reducing the need to have a deep understanding of the structure of the data, what should be the max bound, the min bound, and having to actively manage those elements, but to rely on our in-house model that will check for any anomalies that exist inside your tool. And then we've seen the ability for data consumer to come to Collate, get the information that they need when it comes to knowing if they can trust the data asset that they are working with so far. Okay. So the next element that we are going to cover is how can I be proactively alerted and informed of issues that are ongoing with my data asset, right? I don't necessarily want to always have to come to the tool to be informed and to check issues that may be happening with Collate, right? So with Collate, similarly to the data quality, the profiler, the flow of data, everything is integrated, and you have the ability to natively define these alerts directly from the tool. To perform that, very simple, just a few clicks, similarly to what we've seen so far. So you'll navigate to the Observability tab, select Alerts. Here you can add a new alert. You can name the alerts however you want. And in the source part, you have that ability to check different dimensions, right? The basic one will be to check for our test case or test suite failures, right? So test suite are simply an aggregation of different test cases that we have defined. So for example, if I want to get alerted on failures of my customers table, I will simply select my customers test suite table that was defined right here. And then as a trigger, I can simply select failure, right? And now on any type of failures happening for a test case inside my customers table, then I will receive an alert in the system that I have selected, right? In terms of destination, we have a multitude of destination. So you can send it to your MS Teams, Slack, email. You can also link it with the information that we have inside Collate. So maybe you want to send the alert to all the owners of the tables, right? So here you will simply select the owners and then select the best destination to send to those owners. And of course, we have our webhook integration that will allow you to then dispatch that alert to any type of webhook and then do the processing that works best for you. So let me share you. I've set up earlier an alert for exactly the customer table. So right here. And we can see, sorry, I've set it up right here. And we can see a summary of the kind of events that have happened, right? So here we can see we've had 6 events that have happened in the past hour, and we can check if that alert is successfully being delivered to our destination. So let me switch screen for a second to show you what an alert will look like. All right. Perfect. So can you see my screen? Yep.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So here you can see that I've set up an email alert and that I have received so far 6 emails, right? And those emails keep me informed that something has happened against specific test cases inside my table, right? We provide a link so that you can directly be redirected to the test case that fails and have access to that suite of information that we have seen previously. So I've clicked on that link. Let me go back to my screen. Right, so clicking on that link will then direct me to that to that test case, informing me that some issues have happened, so I can check at a lower range, and I can see that the parameter that were defined in my test case have failed, right? And similarly, you can get that alert directly to your Slack channel, to your MS team, so that you have a quick access to test case failure, and that you don't necessarily have to proactively go to the platform and check for alert, but you can rely on the alerting system to keep you informed on the state of your data. All right, awesome. So far we've seen defining natively integration with Collate for data quality, profiler, descriptive statistics, being able to stay informed using our alerting system. And our final step here in our journey is getting an overview of how is my data quality performing across the entire platform, right? And in 1.6, we have shipped our suite of data quality dashboard that allows you to keep the pulse of how is your data quality performing overall across your entire organization, right? So we provide a default system dashboard that will give you information that are the most relevant in terms of data quality health. So those dashboards are accessible in the Observability tab under data quality. And of course, you'll have different information. So at the top, you'll be able to see what is your data asset coverage, right? So here we see we have a fairly low coverage when it comes to our data asset, right? We're only covering 20 data assets over the 6,000 data assets that we have. Then you'll be able to see out of those 21 that are covered, what is my percentage of healthy asset. And then I'll be able to see overall at the test case level, what is the number of test cases that are passing successful and what is the number that are failing, right? And then if I scroll down, I have that similar information, but broken down by dimension, accuracy, completeness, consistency, and whatnot. And then I'll have a historical view of the trend for each of the categories. So success, aborted, failed. And I'll also have information about how are my incidents that are open inside Collate being managed, right? The idea being we want to make sure that we have a response time that is fairly low, right? So response time, you can think about it as that incident has been acknowledged by a person. And then similarly, a resolution time that is fairly low. Resolution time, you can think about it as I have an incident that has been open, and that incident has then been resolved, right? So you'll have access to that information natively inside Collate. But of course, we understand that certain organizations want to track specific metric. So in the Insight tool in 1.6, we've introduced the ability for users to create their own data quality dashboard, right? So to perform that action, you'll simply need to add your own dashboard. You can add description, ownerships, and link them to a domain. And then when you go to create a new chart, you'll have some metrics available for test case resolution, right? So test case resolution, you can think about those as incidents. And then you'll have information about test case results, right? So that you can then combine dimensions and metric that will best fit the type of information that you may want to track, right? So we provide the system dashboard that gives you a start, for you to keep track and stay informed about the performance of your data quality. But if you want to go further and customize the type of information available, you can use the Insight functionality and create your own custom dashboard tracking metrics across test case results and data quality. All right, awesome. So those are all the functionalities that are currently available inside Collate and that already allow you to have an end-to-end implementation of your data observability, right? Starting with descriptive statistics, then continuing with data quality test so that you can track failures and the status of your data quality. Then you can set up alerting system on top of these metrics and data quality tests so that you have information that is directly sent to you so that you can quickly act upon it, right? You can manage incidents directly and natively inside the platform. And then at the end of the spectrum, you can track the overall health of your table and the performance of your data quality using our native and system-defined dashboard, but also going further with our data insights. Now, the most interesting is what are we working on for the future and for 1.7 and beyond, right? So we can orient it in we can categorize it across 3 dimensions, right? I think the most interesting one is around minimizing the effort for users to start their data quality journey, right? What we want to do is for any team size easily start and implement data quality at scale inside the organization, right? So we're working on 2 very interesting features there. The first one being the ability to create data quality tests using the automators, right? So for those of you that have been using Collate for a long time, we are providing a way to automate elements inside the tool. And in 1.7, will enable you to automate data quality test creation using the automator functionality, allowing you to set up rules to automatically create data quality tests based on condition, right? But we've also decided to go one step further and to introduce our AI-powered test recommendation, right? So we have a lot of information, as we've mentioned earlier, from the knowledge graph that we have inside Collate, right? Having your metadata, having the social signals, having a lot of different elements. And based on that information, we can make smart recommendation using AI so that you have that ability to quickly get recommendation and get started on your data quality journey to implement a data quality test that the model think is the best based on the characteristic that we're seeing across your data set, right? So allowing you to have enhance insight into how can I best test and make sure that I can trust the data that are defined inside my services. So those are two features that we're super excited to ship in 1.7 that we think are going to make a huge difference in terms of value for your team and the ability to quickly scale the data observability inside your organization. When it comes to the two other categories, we want to, of course, extend the monitoring across other services inside your organization so that you don't only track and monitor tables, but that you can also monitor your entire data stack across the transformation journey inside your different pipelines. And then finally, we want to have a big focus on lowering the time that it takes you to resolve ongoing incident, because we understand at Collate that a quickly resolved incident, that is, money that is saved for your team, and that is value that is provided for your data consumer. So those are the exciting features that are coming up in 1.7 and beyond. So we hope that you are as excited as we are with the features that we're providing already today at Collate, and that will be continuing to develop and make available across the tool. Yeah.